I'm in the Bay of Islands right now, and I've been eating heaps of cheese because none of the plums are ripe. So I'd like to talk about today some of the cons about becoming ugly, because I've talked about the pros, but I think it's quite undeniable that there are cons. And I just want to say something before I start. The pros and cons of being ugly are sort of like a bell curve. Over a certain amount of time, I think, depending on what situation you're in, the pros or the cons will outweigh one or the other. So let's say you became ugly for 2 years with bad skin or whatever. Let's say for 1 year, the cons outweighed the pros, and then the pros outweighed the cons, or the other way around. Pros outweigh the cons, cons outweigh the pros. So I'm going to discuss some of the cons. First of all, people not making eye contact with you. Some people just think it's totally acceptable to stare at the grossness of someone's face instead of making eye contact with them, and that makes it really hard to forge a good bond, a good social connection with that person, because sometimes you'll really want to be friends with someone but then they won't make eye contact with you, and that's just sort of an awkward sign in a friendship that you should stop now because they don't want to be friends with you, or they just don't like you or something. Also, another thing is, some people's opinions change about you, or some new people that you meet sort of treat you different to everyone else. Like, they'll use a different tone of voice. For example, usually people would say, "Hello, Dawn. Hello, Sarah. Hello, John," instead of, "Hello, John. Hello, Sarah. Hello, Dawn." Like, you need extra care and attention because being ugly is so hard, so you need more love, and you need a different tone of voice. It's quite patronizing and quite frustrating, because now everyone that has known you before or is new to you thinks that you have some kind of problem now. It's just unnecessary and it's irritating. Try to think of some other ones. You sort of feel like you don't deserve some things. Like, I didn't really want to come here on holiday and meet, like, new people and stuff. Well, I did, but I was a bit apprehensive about it. You become a bit apprehensive about meeting new people and stuff like that after the previous 2 things have happened to you. And that never used to happen to me. Like, I was actually debating whether to come on holiday here today, which is rather unfortunate, but you just need to get over it, honestly. You can't let other people's opinions of you dictate your life. And even if they are bad and it's awkward, too bad. They can't ruin your life for you. Also, some people will think that you being ugly has a bad effect on them, because they have some sort of twisted perception of friendship that means that if they have an ugly friend, it reflects badly on them. And I've actually met people like this, and I've actually lost friendships because of it, and it really sucks, because you really didn't expect people to be like that. You really don't. I mean, I didn't expect people to be like that. I can remember one girl sitting me down at the library. You know how it's weird how a friend sits you down and you're sort of like, "Do you have bad news? Are you pregnant? What is it?" And they go, well, this is what she said to me. She says, "I think your skin is bothering you." And I was sort of like thinking, well, I'm actually trying my hardest not to let it have any effect on my life, so thanks for bringing it up now. That's what I thought, and I was sort of sitting there thinking, oh gosh. And then she goes, she pretty much twisted around to how my ugliness is affecting her reputation because it's too hard to have a friend that looks different now. I don't know, I was never particularly pretty before, but it was just very strange. And then she offered to buy me skincare. So that was just, I wouldn't say it was rude, but it was a strange thing. And ultimately it really started the break off of that friendship when I realized that my skin was a problem to her, even though it wasn't really much of a problem to me. And I talked about how it was sort of bothering me. And I can remember starting to cry because I'd wanted this to never ever affect my life. You don't want a negative thing on your face to affect your life, and now it was affecting my life. And that's what I was so distraught about. And then she said some snide comment about how I was privileged and white, and this is the hardest thing I'd ever had to go through. I don't know, I'm not that privileged. My mum grows tomatoes, so privileged and white? Who comes up with this? Yeah, what else? What you say has less of an effect. I think that how you come across to people, or whether people listen to you or not, or take you seriously, is at least 70% how you appear to them. 20% what you do, and 10% what you say. I mean, maybe this makes sense because you wouldn't want a homeless person giving you financial advice, but I don't know. People just sort of are surprised when you seem really happy and content with your life if you're ugly, which is pretty much why I started this YouTube channel, to show that you can still be fulfilled and wonderful, and even more fulfilled than idiots that think you can't be as an ugly person. And that's another thing, people's expectation of you to be sad and boring. I don't know, that is probably the most nasty. And what's even nastier is when people are surprised. People get surprised when you turn out to have a really, really good grip on your life, that you're happy with life and you're fulfilled, and that you can offer them something in their lives, in a friendship or an advice or something. When they're surprised about that, I think that's when it hurts the most. But yeah, that's about it. I've been eating heaps of cheese, so my skin's getting worse. Dairy makes your skin worse. Comment below if you've experienced any of this, or if you have any comments to make.